Hi Pisces, welcome to your February reading and happy early birthday. Your season is coming up soon. I'm really excited about doing this reading because I think it will be really healing for all of us. If you hadn't heard, I experienced a deep loss in the new year, right around New Year's. My younger brother passed. So, it's been a little bit up and down. But today is a good day and it's a great day to do your reading, and let's talk about February. So February for you is a distant healing month. What do I mean by that? The title of your video is Weave the Dream Real. So you have started the dream weave process for your season. So you pull back the season before your own and you go into a hibernation of sorts, but it's a real dream time break. You go into a space of meditation and daydreaming and just being in that Piscean space where I would like to say that you kind of swim between realms. It's not like you completely disappear into another realm, but you swim between realms. A lot of people, this is the Leo card. This is the strength card associated with ego. A lot of people are going to read this wrong. They're going to see you choosing yourself and immediately take it personally. They could even become suspicious of you. Like, why is this person not around in the same way, available in the same way, reacting the same way? And they might start to think that you're actually trying to take a break from them, especially if we're talking about romance. And it's not that at all. And when they realize that you're not actually trying to move away from them, you're actually moving more inside for yourself, they can either become suspicious of you or they can become resentful of you, or they'll understand. The way that they react to you needing this time, I think, is a very good indicator of whether or not they should be in your life. Okay, and now we have the Eight of Pentacles and the Page of Swords, but they're in reverse. So talking does not help the work right now. As much as people will want you to explain why you're being a bit isolated, talking doesn't help right now. It just makes things more confusing because you've begun the work of weaving your season, and your season is in this etheric realm. So, of course, during this time, you go into a deep process of reassessing everything, especially love, especially romance. And if you have anyone at all that's around you that feels interested, that feels committed to you, they will be a little bit on edge because they're wondering what you're thinking about. What is the reassessment going to be? Are they on the chopping block? And again, that's going to tell you a lot. Like, if someone is more concerned about whether or not they're on the chopping block than they are about how you're feeling and the time and space that you just need for yourself, that's saying a lot. So why do you need this time in the High Priestess energy away from everything to weave this dream? Because I think that within that realm, you actually can work with boundaries very well. I know there is this very trite perception of Pisceans having no boundaries, but I don't think this is the Judgment card, the card of truth, the card of actually setting hard boundaries. I don't think that you have a problem with boundaries. I think you have a problem with boundaries in this plane. Excuse me. Based on, based on physical limitations and physical rules. But I think that your boundaries when it comes to your self-respect, when it comes to your emotional honesty, I think those things are very solid for you. And those are the things that are being reassessed right now as well in this time. Drink something, please. So, you're retreating, you're meditating, you're telling the truth, you're reassessing love. It doesn't matter if you're with someone or together. Don't be afraid of reassessing the matter. It'll only help. And then on February 23rd, you have Mercury, which is the ruler of your 7th house, Pisces rising. It's the ruler of Virgo, which is across from your sun. And so either you're a Pisces sun and it's across from you, or you're a Pisces rising and it's in your 7th house. It's the ruler of your 7th house. That Mercury that rules your romance sector will enter Pisces on the 23rd. So there is a very special moment here where you can help yourself a lot by just, letting yourself think. The answers will come to you. What makes this transit annoying is that you're also going to get everybody else telling you what they think and what they want from you, and they think this is the perfect time to come to you while you're in your hibernating state to be like, I also think you should do this, and I think you should be like this, and that's really annoying. So you will have to deal with that. Be patient, It's only 7 of Wands. It's only for your own benefit. It will only help you succeed, but it is really annoying because you're gonna want to push back. You're gonna want to push back and be like, listen, again, emotional boundaries, like you're asking for a lot, and it's weird that you're asking for a lot right now because I'm obviously already in a space where I'm like making the next hologram for myself, like, can you give me a fucking minute? But you can do that pushing back, and I think you should, but don't do it to the point where it becomes indulgent and you're sabotaging yourself, because you also know that that's possible, right? So only push back when someone is like all like with you. Only push back to the point where you're like, okay, I see what you're saying, but you're going a little too far. And like, this I agree with, this I don't agree with. Don't just outright start the self-sabotage thing, because when you don't like what people are saying and you don't want to hurt them, or you don't like when someone's doing a situation but you don't want to hurt the situation, you will definitely self-sabotage instead and be like, I'll be the bad guy. You're not the bad guy. You're not going to be the bad guy. Your birthday's coming up soon. We're not taking any emotional weight from anyone and putting it on your back right now. Sorry. So these people can want what they want from you, and they can talk all they want to talk about what they need from you, and that's fine. You're going to be patient. You're going to listen. You're going to try to see the merit in what they're saying. And then when it gets too far, you're going to be like, we're going to be classy. We're going to be cool. Okay, that's enough. Thank you. I'll take it into consideration. Okay. Now, boundaries are only good for you when they're helpful. So here we have the King of Pentacles, and then we have the Tower. If anyone else right now forces you to live by their rules, that's not going to go well for them. You are in a space right now where in one way you're very peaceful, you're kind of tapped out because you're in that dream realm doing other work. But at the same time, you're very much aware of like keeping track of your body and keeping track of what's going on in this realm. And anyone who thinks that just because you're a little bit distracted that way, that they can come in and try to run shit in the wrong way in your physical life, they're wrong. And what that looks like to me, the King of Pentacles and the Tower, is like someone in your life who is just, I'm sorry to put it this way, but like overbearing. And they just feel like they have all these different things that they know what's best for you, and you should be doing this, And the way you just like show your Pisces speed, the way, because you can move so fast, 8 of Wands, the way you just like slip out of the situation, and they're going to try to coax you back. They're going to try to keep you there by being like, no, if you leave, everything will fall apart. The Tower moment will happen. Well, then let it happen. Because I'm so fast that I'm going to swim away. None of that debris is going to touch me. The fallout of this is on you. I'm too fast to catch any fallout from this, and this isn't my fault even. So I'm out. So there are situations where you're going to have to be that way. However, I will also say that while it is good to push back against anyone who's trying to lord over you right now, I think it's also important to remember that boundaries can be a bridge. Your boundaries can be a bridge that actually makes your relationships healthier. In some cases, of course, those boundaries are going to burn bridges, and that's good. But in another way, here we have the 7 of Pentacles and the 7 of Cups. In another way, so this is working on your boundaries and building with your boundaries, and this is being confused by your boundaries, being confused by what should essentially be a blessing but feels like panic and like someone oppressing you. Okay? So it's very, very important at this time to understand the nature and the stability of your relationships based on how you can instill certain parameters and what that does for you. Now, like I said, with some people, you're going to instill these parameters, and you're going to get this like from all the thinking that you're doing, from all the meditating, from all the bathing, from all the sleeping. You're going to get like these intonations like, okay, I should do this, I should do that. The more stable your relationships become because you follow that, don't let that make you feel crazy when those same influences tell you like, okay, like when your own instincts are like, okay, that person though, you need to set a hard and fast boundary with them, and they're going to probably freak out, and that's not going to be pleasant, but it needs to happen. So what I'm saying is a lot of this process would make you feel like err on the side of peace. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying stay true to yourself, and most of the time that's going to result in some very strong connections that are real. And in some cases, it will mean that the tower falls apart, and you just need to be quick enough to not be anywhere around when it happens, because it's really not your fucking responsibility. Sorry. Okay. Let's keep going. So now let's talk a little about career and money. We also, before we move on, we also have the Ace of Cups and the Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck, so just rounding off that love and romance conversation. There are so many people, Pisces, who tell you that they love you, and it's like being in the cool crowd, being loved by a Pisces. It's like proximity to fame. It's like people just want to be able to say like, oh, a Pisces loves me, or I'm in love with a Pisces. Like, it's weird. But it has like this opportunistic quality that I really don't like, where I feel like people use you for that. It's a weird kind of like emotional clout. And I think you get like hints of it here and there, because Mars and Venus are in Capricorn. Your head is really fucking clear. So most of that has to do with career and money. But I'm just thinking about it like Mars and Venus in Capricorn gives you a clarity when it comes to the doing and the being and the loving that is kind of unmatched, especially for a Pisces sensibility. And also you have Saturn in your sign, and it's going to be creating these sextiles with Jupiter and Taurus. So you have a lot of this like earth insight coming to you. Very grounded, very earthy, very much not water, right? And I think it's an interesting time for this to happen to you because, excuse me, so many people around you do bank on you being super watery. And so it is really hard to instill limits and red lines and all these other words for boundaries. But, it can be hard to take someone's disciplining and wrangling seriously when you've known them to be quite formless. But they don't understand how much earth energy you have around you right now. It's like, yeah, you're a Pisces, but you're also really, really not playing with anyone anymore. So if you were a goldfish, now you're a tiger shark. If you were a tiger shark, now you're a whale. Like, you have expanded past the idea that people had in their head. And I think that's also a big reason for the dream time, is because perhaps this expansion is like what you do. This is just a part of what you do. And so as you expand that plane that is inexhaustible and infinite, as you keep growing in that realm, of course, the lines in your life are going to change. Of course, people are going to have to understand that the things that used to work don't work, or that things have to change in this or that way. What I'm saying to you is that the more grace you have in this process, the more grace you can give yourself, the more patient and calm you can be with yourself, the better this goes. Do not think of other people. Do not think of what's good for them. You do that 10, 11 months out of the year. Don't do that right now. Right now it's time for you to do all the legwork and all the dream weaving work and all the 12th house work to get your life in order so that your season goes off exactly the way you want. This is not a time for other people to be submitting their complaints, demands, whatever. It will feel really inappropriate. It is really inappropriate, but they're going to do it. They're going to feel that Mercury energy come to you, and they're going to be like, well, I feel like if you were just more like that. Just remember what I'm saying now. Give them grace, be patient, but also do whatever the fuck you want. Don't listen to these people. Don't let anybody else set any lines for you right now. You are the one who's making the rules. You're the captain now. It's your ship. It's your ocean. It's your motherfucking season. Hello. Like, and you're also going to learn a lot about nerve. You're going to learn so much about the nerve and entitlement that people can have sometimes, where you're just like, are you really asking that of me? Because you know what? A couple of weeks ago, maybe I would have gave it to you. But the way I've been in my head, the way I'm basically doing this like really intense shadow work right now with myself, the way I'm weaving this dream and getting like pulled back and meditative, I see you, I peep you so clearly that it's terrifying to me. And now you want to tell me what you need from me after I just clocked you? But of course, now that can turn into a fight. That can be a conversation. That can be something that leads to a stronger bitch because the person turns around and goes, oh, fuck, I'm so sorry. I never meant to do that. I'm so sorry. I've been doing that for so long. I didn't even... And then you say, we have to reassess this. Or the person can just like completely deny it and be a piece of shit and be like, no, I never did. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't believe you're being this way. I can't believe you're being selfish, blah, blah, blah. And then you know. So that little bit of grace period that I'm telling you to have is when you tell them with that judgment voice, like, listen, enough with this. I don't like this. Give them that grace period to respond with either, you're right, I'm sorry, it shouldn't be like that and I shouldn't expect that of you, or, you know, however they're going to react. And then you do what you got to do. We're going to talk, I have 3 more pages of notes. We have career and money. We have, hold on, let me see here. We have career and money. We have mental and physical health. And then we have this whole thing about, you know, just all of the stuff that's going on in your 12th house and how it has to do with recovery. Recovery being a big part of the dream weave. To me, it feels like for your birthday, you get filled up again. And you get to visit that ethereal plane where you get filled up. And then you have to come back here, and then it like takes from you, this earthly plane, it takes from you. And then it's like you're almost out of water. And then you have to go back into the ocean and get filled up. So that period of restoration, just, you know, bringing you back to life in an energetic way. We want to talk about that. And we'll talk about that in the extended, and that extended you can find below at Patreon, on Vimeo, or as an instant video link. There's also a link if you want to get a reading. I've been doing some grief readings lately. And you know, it's kind of great. I'm glad that I waited until now to do your reading, and if you're wondering why I hadn't done it earlier, it's just like I couldn't face you. I couldn't tap into your energy. It's, ooh, you know? I wasn't ready to like touch the other side. But today was different. Today felt like the other side is coming to meet us. Today it feels like the veil gets thinner and thinner, and like we just make our way towards that other place. You know, we're all heading towards that other place in one way or another, and Pisces season is to me kind of like the little death. You know, we go through that transformation and come out the other side. And today was the first day that I wasn't afraid to touch that energy. And I have to say, it's nothing like I thought it would be. I thought it would be really emotional and really hard, and I would cry a lot. But instead, and I've always thought this even when I'm around you, instead, Pisces energy, all it does is like lift me up and give me energy. It doesn't make me emotional. It doesn't make me feel sad. It doesn't make me feel like crying. It makes me feel like I can do this. Like there's such a toughness to you guys. I've always said like, anything that soft, anything that like flowy has got to be so tough. It's so strong because there's no hard edges to break. That's tough, man. That's a strong thing. And so thank you for sharing your strength with me. It is so very appreciated. And I love you.